Can China really overtake the US as the world's dominant power? Welcome to Essential Biz Marketing. In this video, we explore the US-China rivalry through the lens of power transition theory, unpacking the economic strategies, geopolitical moves, and long-term risks behind this global conflict. Power transition theory offers a lens to understand rising global tensions. It explains how industrialization and power shifts lead to geopolitical rivalries like the US-China trade conflict. As nations grow through industry and economics, power balances shift. This process defines modern conflicts, including recent US-China tariff disputes. This theory helps decode President Trump's approach to China. It ties economic confrontation to broader power transition dynamics. Power transition theory challenges balance of power logic. It emerged to explain post-industrial power volatility, especially after the Industrial Revolution. Let's turn to the key premises behind power transition theory. Power shapes the structure of global politics. Nations naturally pursue hegemony, and their competition defines the international order. The Cold War ended with U.S. dominance in a multilateral system. This reinforced U.S. hegemony and global leadership. Economic and industrial growth drive shifts in national power. These shifts reshape the global power hierarchy. No single theory explains all periods of world politics. Power transition theory is better suited for post-industrial dynamics. Balance of power fits older systems, but power transition theory captures today's power realignments more effectively. Let's explore the core components of national power. Power stems from wealth, population, and government efficiency. Industrialization is the most decisive factor. We now enter the stages of national power transition. Agricultural nations remain static unless they expand territory. This phase limits growth without external resources. Industrialization changes a nation's global status. Without war or conquest, internal growth drives upward mobility. Power eventually stabilizes in a mature phase, but its characteristics remain undefined and unclear. Let's turn to how global power is structured. Nations are ranked in a hierarchy by their capabilities and roles. Satisfaction with the global order also matters. Dissatisfied powers are more likely to challenge the system. War risk rises when dissatisfied nations industrialize and gain allies. Together, they pose greater threats to dominant powers. Peace emerges through dominant military power or shared ideologies. Harmony is possible when major powers align strategically. Let's now explore how the theory has evolved beyond internal growth. Alliance transition theory adds external ties to the rise of national power. Global influence grows when alliances support industrialization. Alliances amplify national potential during the transition phase. These ties create leverage in global rankings without war. This map illustrates the global alliance structure as of 2018. It shows key blocks like FAER, NATO allies, and the CHRI bloc, China, Russia, and Iran. Alliance transition theory expands Organsky's concept by emphasizing how external ties, alongside industrialization, drive global power shifts. Let's begin the application of power transition theory to U.S. policy. The U.S. once integrated China into the global order through WTO membership. This approach reflected early appeasement and optimism. China's economic rise challenged the liberal order. Its socialist market model threatened U.S. dominance. In response, the U.S. imposed phased trade agreements. These deals aimed to limit China's economic momentum. The core strategy was to separate China's market from its political system. This would align China more with Western market norms. Finance and IT were seen as the critical sectors. They are central to both China's economy and party control. Finance and IT sectors are tightly controlled by the party. They serve as engines of growth and political dominance. The U.S. promotes liberalization to embed Western norms. Opening these sectors reduces state dominance and boosts global integration. As openness increases, China grows more exposed to global rules. Finance and IT liberalization amplify that dependence. The U.S. seeks leverage by fostering contradictions within China. Internal tensions may weaken centralized control. The U.S. also adopts a containment approach. It leverages traditional alliances to counter China's rise. This map visualizes the U.S. containment strategy toward China. It highlights key military bases, defense partners, and the Indo-Pacific forward defense ring. Through this alliance network, the U.S. seeks to counterbalance China's regional rise. Now let's examine China's strategic countermeasures. China expands global ties through its Belt and Road Initiative. However, the initiative faces criticism over weak soft power. This map illustrates China's global outreach through the Belt and Road Initiative. It shows both the Overland Silk Road and the Maritime Silk Road as tools to counter U.S. influence. However, the initiative draws criticism for predatory lending and limited soft power. China's pandemic response further weakened its global standing. Criticism increased as international trust in China eroded. Let's evaluate how U.S. foreign policy has evolved. The U.S. struggles between unilateralism and its multilateral legacy. It's caught between America first and global cooperation. Unilateralism risks weakening U.S. global leadership. It may boost China's influence and erode allied trust. China's poor pandemic response damaged its global image. Mistrust grew as the world questioned China's responsibility. The Belt and Road Initiative faces serious international criticism. It's seen as a debt trap and fails to create local jobs. Predatory lending and weak cultural appeal hurt China's alliances. Its soft power remains too limited to build lasting partnerships. Let's now consider the long-term global impact of this rivalry. The U.S.-China conflict may evolve into a prolonged Cold War. A decisive resolution remains uncertain. Firms must stay alert during ongoing U.S.-China tensions. Diversifying trade and watching tech and finance sectors is essential. Power transition theory explains the heart of U.S.-China tensions as power shifts, rivalry, and geopolitical risk intensify. Global influence depends on more than military might. Alliances, industry, and national policy shape international power. Ongoing U.S.-China rivalry demands global adaptability. Vigilance and strategy will be essential to maintain stability. Thank you for joining today's session. We look forward to exploring more global business insights with you.